today I'll be breaking down the perfect Daredevil game. Daredevil is one of my favorite comic characters, and as many of his fans would agree, we have not seen nearly enough Matt Murdock in popular media, especially video games. This is surprising when you consider the massive spike in popularity for the character since the Netflix Daredevil series. Fans love Daredevil so much, Disney was forced to uninstall the Born Again series they were 4 episodes deep on, fire the creative team, and start over, bringing back everyone from the original Netflix series, even if they only cleaned the bathrooms. Yet there still was no game announcement. There was an attempt many years ago in 2002 to bring Matt Murdock back to consoles with Daredevil, The Man Without Fear. The game was developed by 5,000 Feet Studios for the PlayStation 2, but unfortunately, as is often the case in game development, things didn't quite work out and the project was canceled. But a playable build resurfaced 20 years later, showing the potential of a game focused around the protector of Hell's Kitchen. Other than that, we've only ever seen Daredevil pop up on the Game Boy Advance, Ultimate Alliance, and mobile games. There was a rumor back in 2020 that a AAA Daredevil game was being developed in addition to a God of War style Wolverine game, but only half of that rumor came true the following year, and we've been waiting for the Daredevil reveal ever since. But that's why I'm here today. I know it's been a little while since my last video in this series. 11 months? Holy.
Come on, man.
Time flies, but never fear, Perfect Game Pitches is back again. As usual, I have created a full game concept and we'll be breaking it all down with the goal of inspiring a studio to make a Daredevil game happen. So if you want to show companies there is an audience for a AAA game based on Matt Murdock, the best thing you can do is leave a like on the video and comment what you want out of the perfect Daredevil game, or leave a dislike if you think this sucks. I'll give a brief overview of the story, the gameplay mechanics, some of the technical stuff, and what studios I think would be a good fit to publish this project. First, it's story time. Most people think the most impressive thing about defense attorney Matt Murdock is the fact he's been able to succeed in the legal world despite being blind. That couldn't be further from the truth. It's only been 3 years, but he's already achieved so much. By day, he protects the innocent from the growing rot of the city using the law, but by night, he takes it into his own hands as the devil of Hell's Kitchen. And tonight, it was a good thing Lady Justice is blind, for she wouldn't see what Matt had to do. The atmosphere of Hell's Kitchen was always intense, especially after the sun went down, but tonight was different. Fear, anxiety, anticipation strangled the air, threatening to choke anyone who dared step outside. Tonight was different. The Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, was a free man. Matt Murdock, dressed in a uniform that strikes terror in the heart of Hell's Kitchen's worst criminals, sits in his dimly lit apartment, listening intently to a police scanner. The news of Kingpin's release plays in the background on his TV.
In a controversial decision, Wilson Fisk, also known as the Kingpin, has been released from prison.
Matt's expression is stern.
All units, we have a 187 at the docks. Possible gang-related homicide.
His jaw set. Matt rises to his feet and grabs his mask. It's time. As Daredevil, you take to the streets, the city's post guiding you. Your mission, to investigate the murder at the docks. The player, as Daredevil, is taken through a movement tutorial as you make your way from the apartment building to the crime scene, sticking to the rooftops to swiftly move around the city by utilizing a combination of parkour skills and his iconic billy club, which can be used as a grappling hook. Traversal in this game should feel like Assassin's Creed meets Mirror's Edge. When you arrive at the docks, Matt will begin investigating the crime scene. Using a game mechanic similar to Batman's detective vision, you see the world through Daredevil's heightened senses, piecing together evidence through touch, hearing, smell, and eavesdropping on conversations. Tracing the clues leads to a museum, one of the fronts for Kingpin's criminal enterprise. Daredevil breaks in stealthily. The museum is eerily silent. Bodies of Kingpin's goons lie scattered around. Daredevil examines the scene, his radar sense revealing more than meets the eye. Out of the shadows, ninjas clad in red suddenly attack. A fierce fight ensues. This will serve as the game's combat tutorial, introducing you to combo chains, dodges, and parries. Daredevil battles skillfully, his movements a blend of precision and power. After defeating them, he feels a symbol on their uniforms, a hand. He continues to investigate. Clues gathered, enemies defeated, Daredevil unearths the next piece of the puzzle, an underground auction. The symbol, resembling a hand, hints at a deeper, darker presence in Hell's Kitchen. Now for Daredevil's combat, the easy thing to do would be to just clone Batman Arkham Knight and put Daredevil in it. And there have been some really cool mods that do just that. The Devil of Hell's Kitchen is a natural fit, punching enemies in the face with Rocksteady's Gotham as the backdrop. But I think we can actually do better, as there was a mod for a different game that I think would be more suited to take inspiration from if we're going to build a game for the Man Without Fear, and that game is Sifu. Despite releasing in the same month as Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring, the indie game Sifu managed to carve out its own place in the market with a critically acclaimed debut. They gave fans a fresh take on the action brawler genre. Sifu was a visually unique and challenging martial arts simulator that rewarded skilled players with breathtaking sequences. Given how important high-level hand-to-hand combat has been to the growing popularity of Daredevil, I think a AAA game based around Matt Murdock should aim to emulate that. Free flow can be fun, but I don't think it lends itself to skillful combat like I'm trying to convey. And I'm sure after 4 Batman and 3 Spider-Man games that use this style, fans will be willing to embrace something different. I like how in Sifu, combat becomes a bit of a dance as you try to perfectly time your blocks, parries, and dodges, waiting for your window to unleash a flurry of insane combos. The Daredevil game should have a combination of basic grunts to help you feel powerful and master the moves, as well as tough martial artists that you won't be able to button mash your way through. But one important thing that needs to be included, not just for authenticity, but to help the players out, is Daredevil's super senses. He's blind, but his senses are so enhanced that he can fool you into thinking he can actually see. Of course, we don't want to go too far with trying to simulate Daredevil's blindness, since we have to balance out your need to see the game, so I want to incorporate unique mechanics based on your senses to help you in combat, track people down, tell when somebody's lying, and anticipate when attacks are coming. I also want a mode that you can activate to supercharge your skills using your radar sense. Your radar sense in combat mode could be visualized as ripples or after images coming from enemies, showing their movements and intentions before they act. This would allow players to react with split-second timing, just as Daredevil does in the comics and shows. This could be like an ultimate ability you build towards. Outside of combat, these enhanced senses would play a crucial role in investigations. For example, hearing mode visualizes sound waves, allowing you to eavesdrop on conversations through walls or pick up distant clues. Smell mode, represented by colorful shapes in the air, useful for tracking suspects or detecting hidden dangers. And a touch mode, highlighting variations in air pressure and temperature, helping you find hidden passages or avoid traps. These sensory modes will not only serve gameplay purposes, but also immerse the player in Daredevil's unique perception of the world. As for the game's structure, I envision an open world Hell's Kitchen dense with detail and activity. The main story will revolve around Kingpin's return and the emergence of the Hand, but there will be plenty of side activities to flesh out Matt's dual life. Legal cases as Matt Murdock related to the story, where your enhanced senses help you gather evidence and read witnesses, street level crime fighting, from stopping muggings to dismantling drug operations, parkour challenges to test your traversal skills, and fight clubs to hone your combat abilities. The game should also feature a day-night cycle with different activities available depending on whether you're operating as Matt Murdock or Daredevil. I'm not as concerned about graphics. Obviously, Unreal Engine 5 has made some incredible leaps and will be a great fit for any game, but I personally feel like big studios spend too much time and money worrying about graphic fidelity. Something more cartoony like Arcane Leon's style for Blade, or anime adjacent like Marvel Rivals would be perfectly fine, especially for a superhero game. I think the way a game feels, the story, and progression are way more important than how it looks. Now, who could bring this vision to life? Based on the combat-focused gameplay and the need for a densely detailed open world, Insomniac Games is an obvious choice. They've proven to be masters of the single-player superhero game with Spider-Man, and their attention to detail in creating Marvel's New York would translate well to a more focused Hell's Kitchen setting. But they're busy enough. Same with Sucker Punch, who have done incredible work with the infamous games in Ghost of Tsushima. Now, I mentioned Sifu as a big inspiration for my concept, and I think if Slow Clap worked with a large publisher like Sony to handle the financials, they would be perfect for a Daredevil game. Ubisoft would do a really good job as well. Say what you will about their business practices, but there is a reason so many studios have imitated their approach to open world games, which continue to make lots of money. They're already working with Disney on Star Wars Outlaws, which gameplay wise looks incredible. Throwing them Daredevil, I think will result in one of the best games they've had in years. Honorable mention to Capcom and Shift Up. But what do you think? What does your perfect Daredevil game look like, and who would you want to develop it? And if you love these sort of videos, I made one for the Hulk, which I personally think is incredible. Click the video on screen to learn more.